I'm standing here in the Glen of Imaal, a scenic and rugged area of the western Wicklow Mountains. As well as being a popular destination for hikers and tourists, around 6,000 acres of the Glen are used as the site of Ireland's largest Defence Forces live firing range. The Glen was the site of a great tragedy 45 years ago. On Saturday, the 15th of April 1979, a group of children and youth leaders from the St Mary's Youth Club in Lucan, who had travelled to the Glen for the Easter weekend, were hiking in the direction of Lucknaquilla, one of Ireland's highest mountains, when they entered military lands. Along the way, one member of the group picked up an object. They didn't know it at the time, but the object was an unexploded anti-tank shell. Later, another member of the group threw it against a rock, and it exploded. Two boys, Derek Finn and Declan Kane, were killed in the blast. Another boy, Victor Mills, died later in hospital from his injuries. All three were from Sarsfield Park, a council estate in Lucan village. 10 other children were seriously hurt in the blast, with injuries ranging from crushed bones, lacerations, burns and severely damaged limbs. The tragedy initially dominated the headlines, and the Defence Minister at the time ordered investigations into the incident and into safety at the Glen. However, media and the government's attention soon shifted away from the explosion and from the victims themselves. The Journal Investigates has been conducting a thorough investigation into what happened that day here at the Glen. We have spoken to survivors who have suffered from the long-term physical and mental repercussions of the blast and have read through a number of declassified military reports. Our investigation has discovered numerous military health and safety issues in the months leading up to the explosion. Most notably, in September 1978, 7 months before the fatal blast, 3 boys were injured in very similar circumstances in the Glen when one of them threw an unexploded shell against a rock and it exploded. A local curate at the time, Father Kevin Lyne from here in the Nard, was highly critical of the army. He called for an urgent review into the safety regulations, saying that they were totally inadequate to protect civilian life. Father Lyne also called for a thorough inspection of the range and said that the amount of ordnance being discovered there had reached staggering levels. Our investigation reveals that the Army's response was to instead discreetly investigate Father Lyne himself. The investigation concluded that there was no basis for his statements to the press. Following the April 1979 tragedy, extensive searches were carried out in the Glen and 54 live shells were discovered. What the Army did commit to doing following the earlier explosion was to erect more notices, warning people of the dangers of entering military lands at the Glen. However, our investigation reveals that planned additional notices were not in place by the following April when the tragedy occurred. The government has never apologised to the survivors of the blast, nor to the families of the boys who died. Survivors who spoke to the Journal said that they are still angry about what happened that day and are angry at how they were later treated by the state. You can read the full article on the Journal to hear their testimony and to get a full picture of what happened that day here in the Glen of Imaal.